Hey there, everybody. Glad to be with you again on this Wednesday, taping this Wednesday morning, the 28th. And in case you're just landing on the channel, very glad you're here. Hope you stick around, like what you see, hit that like and, I'm ready to talk. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'm a Fefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. And, another day on the roller coaster, but we do this together. I thank you again for your time here. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, so many of you who've been hyping my videos. I'm trying to grow my audience and get some good content out there. So when you do that, I always respond to the comments, or at least I try to. I appreciate it more than I can tell you. And my members, you already know. Lots going on in my membership, and a lot more to come. You can check out the playlist. I think if you're not a member, you can't click into the video, but you can see some of the topics that I cover. If you are a member and you didn't realize, there is a playlist out there for members only. If you go to the playlist tab and look for members only videos, those are accessible to you, all the content that I put out there. So can't wait to see you again on February 8th, my members. We do a monthly private Zoom meeting, not recorded. So, we can chop it up and let what happens and talk freely in a safe environment. I loved meeting with you all once a month to do that. And we're going to keep it going in 2026, especially, right? All right, couple of things. Wanted to start out today, Spirit led me. Props to Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. I'm sure most of you have seen by now what happened with this guy who jumps up with a injector thing and goes at her with that. They still haven't said what that is. I'm sure they're going to take it for testing. But here she is, all 110 pounds of her, if that. She was ready when he did that. She was ready to throw hands. Like, she went over. Her little fist went up. Like, she was ready. And you had all these big guards, and of course they took him down. You all saw it. But I just thought that spoke so much to the spirit of not just Minnesota and Minneapolis, but the spirit of this country right now, of people who are ready to go at it. And certainly it should have sent a very clear message to people in Congress who are just, the most they can do is jump on social media and make some strong statement for a hot minute, or go on the news shows and, blah, 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 like Jeffries, Schumer, you get it. Man, was that just her demeanor, and her people were trying to call her. You saw they were trying to call her off the stage. It was a town hall. They were like, we don't even need to do this. You need to change clothes, because you could see it didn't look like it really got in her face, but it got on her clothes. They were like, you need to change. We don't know what this is. Had a really stinky odor. But here's the thing. Here comes who Frump, when asked about it, and makes this incredibly awful statement. But what else is new, right? But he says, I wrote it down, she wondering if she set it up herself. And they asked him, they said, well, have you seen the video? And he says, I don't have to bother, quote unquote, I don't have to bother. Set it up herself. Does that carry refrains of Butler, PA, for anybody else, right? Spirit, was he telling on himself, essentially, in his diminished cognitive capacity? Was Trump confirming that that's how he's operating, that he is doing these things, or he understands a setup because that's what he does? Self-love, narcissism, as usual, comes at the bottom of the deck. I'm using the Kipper deck, and then I may go to tarot in a moment. Yeah, it was about him, but I also feel in the context of the question, Spirit is saying, yeah, this he did this in Butler, allegedly, supposedly, for entertainment purposes only. He did this in Butler because, again, it manipulated the crowd to elevate him. All the posters and memes and stuff, we saw that. We're not going back there. To community, to build his community. So he saw what happened to her and the sympathy that it would garner, as a flashback to his intentional efforts to garner that sort of sympathy for himself when he was on the campaign trail last year, or 2024. Spirit, was that person mature man and manifestation come up. That's it worked for him. That's the bottom line. When he had that, then when that thing was staged, it worked for him. Spirit, was that man sent by an organization, maybe ICE affiliated? Was it sent by a sympathizer or just a wacko? Like, what was this man's deal? Expectation. I'll show it to you. Divine masculine, hyped up, hates women, hates black women in particular. She does represent an immigrant or the immigrant community, clearly, her background, her cultural background. And the courthouse, he's going to get prosecuted. Now, I think he was a lone wolf or whatever you want to call him. He had the expectation, this is speaking to as well, this man who sprayed that stuff. He said, apparently he asked a neighbor to watch his dog, and he said, don't be surprised if I get arrested. But this is someone who is on the hate women train, and, you know, which we've seen so many of these. What happened to Renee Good? What happened to Alex Preddy, who was trying to help and aid a woman who had been pushed down by ICE, right? So these attacks in particular on women who are perceived as more vulnerable and able to really throw their weight around. This is such a twisted thing that we see playing out. But yeah, he's going to get prosecuted. He's already been arrested for, what was it, 3rd-degree assault. But I just thought, more importantly, in terms of what people have been waiting for and expecting and asking people in Congress to do, which is, one, show up and be more visible. And so the fact that she even had the town hall, that people turned out, and that she continued to go forward even in the wake of that incident. They tried to pull her off. Her handlers said, no, you know, we got to get you out of here. And she said, no, I refuse to cave into that fear. I think from a spiritual perspective, and certainly from a socio-political perspective, that is so in line with what people are feeling right now. And it really tapped into the pulse of that. Speaking of what the people are feeling, you all, February 8th, Super Bowl halftime show is going to be off the Richter scale for so many reasons. We know that there's been a lot of discussion around Bad Bunny and the anticipation of his performance, his show, who he's going to have with him. It's going to be a landmark, especially in this time. But here's the thing. He has also, from what we understand, that 5-year-old that we saw with the little bunny rabbit hat that was detained because they were going after his father. They basically used him as bait. A judge has come out and said, don't you dare deport him. Don't you move him. You leave him. But he is still, from what we understand, in ICE detention. Some things have been circulating in social media that Bad Bunny, who saw the picture of this incredible little 5-year-old with this little bunny hat on, he has responded and said he sees parts of himself in that little boy. He would like to find a way to get that child released, and he has said if that's the case, he will definitely be featuring and have him on stage with him at the Super Bowl halftime show. What I'm wondering is the extent to which that show is going to highlight, in particular, the situation, the immigration situation, the detention situation, and children. We saw a tape earlier this week as well. I can't remember, forgive me, drop it in the comments, somebody, if you know, that group of adults and children. They were in these blue, somehow they're designating them, they were in these blue and red and green hoodies, and they're all looking up, crying out from this detention center. There's something there. This Super Bowl halftime show is going to precipitate something in particular around I want to call it rescue of children. They've said, Bad Bunny has even said, I will adopt this child if necessary, the 5-year-old. I would be willing to adopt him, is what we're hearing he said. I'm getting some energy around that, real love. Oh my God, and a love offer. I'm not going to ignore that. Real love and a love offer. And this is an aspect of this horrible situation and around detention and these detention facilities around children in particular, that even though there's so much still made around the adults and whether they're gang members, all of which we know is being proven false, or certainly mostly false, the people who are being pulled and put in those detention centers. But the children, no excuses. No, and Rachel Maddow said on Monday night, again, this is Wednesday morning, Rachel Maddow said Monday night, like, these centers are popping up all over the place because they're looking at making some money off of them. Spirit, are we going to see, after, especially in the wake of the halftime show by Bad Bunny, are we going to see some momentum around the release of children in these detention centers? Will there be something? 3 cards are trying to come. Ending of bondage and manifestation, y'all. Thank you, Spirit. You see that? Endings of bondage, manifestation. This situation, this halftime show, and that's part of what's going to make it so momentous. Yes, we remember what Kendrick Lamar did in last year, where, you know, respect for that, salute all of it, right? But this is getting ready to also, in the wake of, or in light of all the things that have unfolded since last year's Super Bowl halftime show to where we are now, this performance, not just by Bad Bunny, by everyone on that stage, is going to have a ripple effect unlike anything we've ever seen in this country. It is going to actually, like a groundswell of support. And I don't know, again, this little boy, the 5-year-old, is still in detention. I don't know if they'll be able to get him out and if in fact he will be featured. But if not him, other children. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we will see something in that show that features children. And he's made a commitment. This is Bad Bunny. He ain't backing down. For what? Why would he? He doesn't have to. Incredible, incredible. And so old boy who has said he's not going to go, you know, for what? No, he knows why he's not going to go, because he knows that he will be booed out of the stadium at this point. It's not even about his safety or any of that. He knows that public sentiment is so far against him at this point. That there's no like, for what, dude? Like, do you want to hear the boos, or you want to pretend you don't hear the boos? Okay. Next thing, moving on. JD Vance. Now we know Usha's pregnant, and there was a lot of talk around, really? And there's been some questions around, did this suddenly happen because of the rumors around Erica Kirk? You know, I don't think that's a no. But he apparently last week, Vance was in front of what was the organization? A March for Life group in DC. It was a March for Life rally in DC. And he starts talking about tax credits. And he says, this is a quote, that he told Usha, honey, we've got an expanded child tax credit. And we've got the Trump accounts. This, I guess, $2,000 he's supposed to give people who have babies now. We got to take advantage of this stuff, is what. So he's explaining to the audience at this March for Life group that, you know, this was part of the discussion between he and Usha about the decision to have a 4th child. Let's have this 4th child because we want to take advantage of the child tax credits, of the tax credits. Really? We know that Katie Miller is out here pregnant. And maybe she needs the tax credits. They need it because she's out here trying to help Stephen keep his job. He's in trouble. And we'll talk more about that later. I did a piece on that in my last video where there's this thing coming between he and Susie Wiles. He's not in good shape, but for right now, I think Kristi Noem is pretty much at the front of that line. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with that. But here's the deal. Are they pushing? And is this going to be another reason why JD Vance fails? Because he's trying to make this let's have more babies a part of his platform. We know that the conservative movement, specifically the conservative Christian movement, has been really pushing this have more babies. Women, you stay home, let the men take charge, and you all just go back into the motherhood, the Leave It to Beaver 50s era spirit. Is that gonna go over? Is that gonna give him any more clout in the MAGA movement? The karmic masculine, that's what he's calling on. That's what he's trying to signal. He's doing his signaling to the manosphere. Keep women at home. Someone like Usha, who was extremely accomplished and just threw it all away. Awakening. I feel like Spirit is saying there's going to be an awakening, especially among women. And a distant future, though. It's going to take a while to play out. He is looking at this as a platform to continue to appeal to the right to life people, the pro-lifers, and specifically the Christian movement, thinking as well. He's still trying to weasel his way around Charlie Kirk's supporters. So he sees this whole family life, women have their role and men thump their chest have their role. That's part of his platform, his dynamic, and where he's trying to find his voice. Clearly, Trump ain't out here ain't having no babies. Clearly, even more to the next level, Melania ain't having no babies. All right. And we got Caroline Levitt out there pregnant too. I guess she's looking for some tax credits as well. Confusion, illusion. We can move on to the next thing. This is all part of his design, again, to recapture, retake mind control, and basically the cult following, but specifically for the Christian faction of the MAGA movement. Trying to move in and hone in on younger people, childbearing age, and how this is, this administration and the one he's hoping to lead going forward is not only pro-life, but hey, have some babies and get some money while you're at it. And that's what me and Usha are thinking about. Jeez, it just, bizarre maybe is the word. All right. This is the serious thing that I want to wind up this reading on. I think I'm going to switch to tarot for this. No Kings 3, coming up on March 28th. Minnesota is going to be the flagship, Twin Cities flagship place to launch it. Indivisible is talking about this. They are, apparently they're saying they're waiting that long. A lot of this, of course, is coming in the wake of the recent killings in Minneapolis. But they're saying they need this much time because the first two marches were incredible. No incidences of violence or arrests and all of that. But the stakes are higher. The temperature has gotten turned up a lot more now. And so they're saying, the organizers are saying they need more time to prepare for security, training, etc. Here's where I'm going. I'm getting, many people, I'm sorry, got a lot of incense going. I might have overdone it. And I've got this scented candle going. Bear with me. There's a lot of spiritual energy around why so much has happened in Minnesota, Minneapolis in particular, even going back to George Floyd, and now, of course, what we see unfolding in the last couple of weeks. There's something about Minnesota energetically playing a historic role, you all, in what will become a very different future for the United States. That's bottom line how I'm getting it from my spirit guides. And what I'm wondering is, one, I'm wondering if the capital of the United States is going to wind up, I don't know if officially moving to Minneapolis or moving out of DC, because DC and the White House in particular is going to be left in a shambles. There have been people on this platform who have even seen the White House empty, right? Like just not even there. We know what happened to the West Wing. It's just, not the West, was it the East Wing? if things being demolished, the ballroom, who even knows anymore if that's even really gonna go forward, or certainly if Trump would be around still to take part in it. Yeah, there's a whole big question mark around that. I'm asking, are we going to see the seat of the United States government move out of DC and perhaps move to Minneapolis or somewhere in that region? I have the Seven of Cups and the world. I'm not going to ignore it. It's an option, or it will become an option. There's something about the deterioration of the White House and the stain that has been put on the White House, and the stain that will remain is what Spirit just said. Like, you can't go in there and just do a paint job and rearrange the furniture and it's all good. That as an institution, as a foundational element of what this country represents, has been tarnished and perhaps tarnished beyond repair. Spirit, are we going to see Two of Swords? There's some conflict around it. I don't know if there's anything, maybe you all who know constitutional law or know a lot more than me, let me know, is there something that mandates that the seat of government be in DC, in the District of Columbia? Two of Swords there, says there's some confusion around it. Perhaps even, is this about a resistance to that? Like people wanting to reclaim DC for what it was? Is there going to be Five of Cups, so much disappointment, almost like ready to look to someplace else. And that's what I was feeling around Minneapolis. Like, don't even want to look at DC anymore. Like, just divorce it. Not the people, not the function. I respect that. There are still many people there trying to do their jobs and trying to live. But there's the star, ruled by Uranus, change, Aquarius. All of this Aquarius energy that we have around us and in the years to come, Pluto in Aquarius, fundamental change. Will the capital, or however the reorganization of government, will it go someplace else? The Eight of Pentacles, that's people working on it. That's the idea, not just an idea, but in Pentacles, that's some real work happening around it. Will it move to Minneapolis? Will it move to, or the state of Minnesota? The Three of Wands. Growth in fire, momentum. Because I just got a chill. Because they just showed me a Statue of Liberty. But a Statue of Liberty, or a representation thereof, not a duplicate, but a representation thereof, meaning, having a different meaning for this moment in time. The Statue of Liberty means what it means during that, during that moment in time, and historically, but that Minneapolis representing, and they showed me a Statue of Liberty because it will be a ground zero, like the World Trade Center. It will be a fixture in the annals of America, is what they just said, where the turn happened, where the people really changed the energy and the conscious and helped foster the consciousness of resistance and reclaiming America, and the bravery that it has taken. The Four of Cups takes some time. Minneapolis needs some healing. We'll need a lot of healing in the wake of this, a lot of support. Even once all of this goes away, there are people in the Two of Wands, but it plays such a powerful role in the future. Two of Wands being focused forward. How do we do this? I'm telling you, there is something there where this area becomes different and it plays a different role in American government. I'm done. My job here is done. If you're with me, you know I'll be looking for my aces. That's how my spirit's talking. There we have it, the Ace of Wands. There's something there. And I know we're going way out in the future when we got so much to deal with right here, right now, today. But I just wanted to share that with you, that all of this, again, looking at why Minneapolis, why is all of this continuing to happen there? Because that place holds an energy that is reflective of the revolutionary spirit of the American people. And I would not be surprised if, now of course we'll look at it more, but as we go towards this No Kings 3 on the 28th of March, I wouldn't be surprised while the other No Kings protests, let me ask, while the other No Kings protests have certainly, taken place around so many cities, thousands of them, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of, in addition to that, some sort of mass protest migration to Minneapolis. In other words, where people from all around the country show up for that protest in the Minneapolis region or the Twin Cities, wherever, in Minnesota. Boom. Right? In Minnesota. Is that what we're going to see? Will there be people from around the country who choose to participate in that No Kings 3 in Minnesota? Will we see that? Will there be people who make the sort of a pilgrimage? Seven of Pentacles, we will. There's going to be an aspect of that. And I think this is Seven of Pentacles card of assessment, so to speak, is the organizers, Indivisible and other organizations, I'm sure 50501 and others, are going to push that because they want this to be the biggest ever and certainly safe. Now, the last thing I want to ask on this is, and the Six of Swords, moving forward. Yes, there is a desire to do that. There's going to be a desire, and perhaps even an actual part of their organizing is to bring people from around the country, not just having these protests in the various places, but to bring people to that region for that purpose. Now, gotta ask it, will he try to use this No Kings 3 if he's even still here? Everybody's looking at the clock. Got the champagne or the apple cider on ice in the fridge. I know, right? Ready to order up some pizza and wings. I get it. But is this going to be a tipping point where because it's going to be early enough in the year, again, trying to pull out all the stops ahead of the midterms, is this going to be something that he tries to use again to actually implement the Insurrection Act? Was this No Kings 3 be a tipping point for this administration to enact the Insurrection Act, if I can get my words out? Six of Pentacles, death, and justice. The courts will stop it. They want to bring those to an end because imagine, it's going to be phenomenal again, and it's going to be phenomenal. The No Kings 3 is going to be phenomenal on a whole different level. As phenomenal as we saw them last year, this one is going to reach a whole different peak. And they want to bring that to an end again because of 2026 and the stakes being so high. But here come the courts, and the courts are going to say, not so fast. Not so fast. So that also helps explain why Indivisible and what's his name, Ezra Levin, and others within the organization, that's why they were taking their time. They didn't try to launch it in immediate response to what's happening. They said, no, let's take the month of February and most of the month of March to get everything in place to safeguard against it. This is chess. I say it all the time. My guides say it all, because I don't even know how to play chess. But this is chess. This is not checkers. And they know that any excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act, just as they try to accuse and come out completely out of pocket to say that Alex Preddy, because he was a licensed to carry, that he was planning to go in and do harm. And what they know this, they've seen it play out in that scenario with Preddy. And so now imagine these crowds. But the justice system, the courts will stop it. Somehow, some way, it'll get stopped. And there's a new start. This is I mean, all of these things are leading to a brand new day, and we know that. And I think Spirit is just giving us every indication. Don't let your foot, metaphorically, spiritually, in your prayer, your energy, don't let your foot up off the gas. This is going, also ruled by Uranus, right? Change. This is leading to a new America. What that America looks like, we got a long time to get together and try to figure all that out and add our collective voices to what that's going to look like. But this is going to change. I'm not even sure, in different reading for a different day. The Democrats, we hear over Nome, Kristi Noem, and pushing for impeachment. We understand, like, for whatever reason, they're at 75% of Dems on board with that. What the hell are the other 25 talking about? Right? Like, the idea that everybody didn't just like jump into the circle. Yes, let's go. Let's start it tomorrow. The idea that there is still some sort of resistance to that, it's the donor money. We know that. But that, we got the fool. Where is it? All right. I'm going to end it on that note. Change is coming. And the thing with the fool is, that it ain't going to look like nothing it looked like before. Different. Way, way different. All right. Thank you all so much. And I will check back in with you on Friday. I appreciate you. And stay safe out there. Really take care of your energy. Remember, sky above you, earth beneath you, grounding you, and soul within you, spirit within you. All right? You are greater than anything that we're seeing coming out of that regime. Don't ever lose sight of that. And don't ever feel that you are powerless in the face of it. All right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.